Sarvebhyah Ram Ram Ram. Today I will be touching an important topic on how to memorize Amarakosha. What is the technique that can be adopted? I think I have touched on this briefly in the middle someday, but some of the students were asking, can you again touch on it? I will talk to you about the technique and how you can adopt this and how much time it will approximately take for us to by heart something like Amarakosha, etc. So what are the examples found in the world to memorize the same? Now this is, I would request very rapt attention of all the audience for this small talk. I will write as I am explaining. So the topic is how to memorize Amarakosha. So the memorization is like, it is like Veda memorization. So what is the method that we follow? The way people by heart the Vedas in the Veda Pathasalas, that is how we do the memorization. There are various steps involved. To memorize. That is one of the main thing, and it is all about training your brain to memorize. So let me talk about this. It's all about training your brain to memorize. Now, there is no question of age. This is 100% proven by research also. So people think that, okay, I cannot memorize because I am aged. No, that is definitely a misnomer. We can always memorize anything provided we train our brain to memorize. Our brain should sit and do memorization every day, and then only we can memorize, and that will come into long-term memory. There is short-term memory and long-term memory. Okay. At this stage, I will ask Amarakosha or Raghava Sundara, who are Veda Pathasala students, to just tell, if it is possible, how they do memorization of the Vedas. I just want to, at this stage, I want to invite them and then ask them. So Amarakosha or Raghava Sundara or Aniruddha, somebody can tell. Now you have 15 or Punjabi, that is, you have a paragraph in Yajurveda. How do you by heart that? So what is the procedure followed? You can tell in Tamil if you are not. I will translate to English, or you can tell in Sanskritam. I will translate to English.
We will recite a panchayati for 10 times. Each panchayati 10 times.
முதல்ல சந்த சொல்லி கொடுப்பாங்கப்பா, சந்த அத பத்தி சொல்லுங்க.
ஒரு பிரஷ்னம் வந்து 10 சந்தை ஆகும்.
There is one prashna. Prashna is a portion of the Veda. You can consider as Veda. Now that portion is first taught how much time? 10 times.
10 times.
So first it is taught 10 times. So now when the prashna is taught 10 times, first time how is it taught? Second time how is it taught? First day, fifth day, 10th day. எப்படி வருது?
இப்போ முதல் பாடம் ஆரம்பிச்ச ஒரு வாக்கியத்தை பாதியா எடுப்பார். பாதியா 3 சந்தை முதல்ல 3 பாட்டம் அப்படி போகும் பாதியா. அதுக்கப்புறம் 4வது பாடத்துல இருந்து ஒரு வாக்கியமா போகும்.
Exactly. So from the 4th day, one vakya
4th day to 9th day. 4th day to 9th day.
4th day to 9th day. அதுக்கப்புறம்
அப்புறம் 10வது பாட்டம் வந்து ஒரு பஞ்சாயத்து முழுசா, அதாவது 10 வாக்கியமும் சேர்ந்து நாங்களே சொல்லிடணும் 2 வாட்டி.
Okay. So on the 10th day, they tell the full Panchati is a set of ஒரு பஞ்சாதினா 50 lines.
10. பிராமணத்துல தசன்யா 10 வாக்கியம்.
10 வாக்கியம். Okay. Say 10 vakyas போடுறேன். 10 vakyas. So on the 10th day, they tell the full Panchati, 10 vakyas on their own.
On their own, each student.
Each student. So this is the heart. So see, so the Guru Ucharana Purvaka Shishya Anucharanam. The first thing is Guru recites and Shishya repeats twice. This is the method followed. Like that, it is taught 10 times. The first day will be one vakya. It will be split into 3 parts. First, second and third day. 4th day to 9th day, the vakya will be full. 10th day, they will chant the full set of vakyas, 10 vakyas together. Now, this is how it is done. Now, this is Sandai. This entire thing is called, this particular thing is called, we can, in Vedic parlance, we can call it as Sandai. This is a term used in Tamil Nadu Pathashalas. I am just keeping that. So it can be called as familiarization of words and sentences. So familiarize your words, get the words clearly, get the and the swara clearly. So in Veda, the swara is important. The swara is made to, so the swara has to sit in the appropriate place. So Udatta Anudatta Swarita has to sit in the appropriate place. Familiarization of words, sentences and swaras. So after this, they won't make mistakes in the word or the sentence or the swara. That is the first objective of this first phase. Now Parankusha, now you talk about the second phase where you do the avarti. Second phase. To retain that portion, what all you do?
சந்தைக்கு அப்புறம் திருவே சொல்லுவோம். ஒரு பஞ்சாயத்து 10 தடவை.
So one panchati, which is Dashavakyas, is told 10 times. Is told 10 times. And how it is told in the afternoon. It is not the same time as the teaching time. Idhe vera time la pannuvelliya, this is
vera time.
This is at a different time. So this is very important. So the practice happens at a different time where they are training the brain. This is where they are training the brain to memorize every day. So training the brain to memorize every day. Now they already know those sentences they have got from their guru. Now they have to practice this 10 times. That is first time. First step it is to tell this 10 times. Next step is sollupa.
அதே மாதிரி 10 into 10.
10 into 10. This is what I wanted. So next is 10 into 10. totally they repeat it 100 times, they practice it 100 times before this goes into the long-term memory. 10 into 10. This is done for 10 days. You think that this is done for 10 days. 10 days, the same Panchati is told for 10 times, which means 10 into 10 times. So it becomes 100 times they have practiced. Now 100 times practice has happened for this rule. இதுக்கப்புறம் ஏதாவது ஸ்டெப் இருக்காப்பா?
இதுக்கப்புறமா அது வந்து கீழ்த்திருவன்
வாட் இஸ்
அது வந்து கீழ்த்திருவன் அது வந்து டெய்லி 3 வாட்டி சொல்லணும் ஒரு 5 நாளைக்கு.
ஆஃப்டர் தட்
கீழ்த்திருவைன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. முதல்ல 5 வாட்டி, அடுத்து 3 வாட்டி, அடுத்து 5 வாட்டி, ஆக டோட்டலா 10 வாட்டி ஆகும்.
Daily 3, 5 and then 10 times.
2 times.
2 times. This is ongoing practice. Ongoing practice. Now all this happens at a time. See, this is the time with the Guru. What they are telling this Sandai is the time with the Guru. This is the time they might have a secondary teacher who will oversee them do this work. But it is actually done by the students themselves in the Veda Pathasala in a different time. So what they are doing is they are training the brain to memorize every day. This is what they are doing. Now this same method we have to apply to Amarakosha. That's all. Now there is no brainer. There is no brainer for Amarakosha. People are asking how do we do Amarakosha, etc. Amarakosha memorization. Now, or any shloka memorization. First, the same method. So if you take the steps, the first step is day 1 to day 4 is familiarization of words and vakyas. Here no swaras. See, one advantage of Amarakosha is you don't have swara. So that is what in the first day 1 to day 4. Day 5 is sequence memorization. Day 5 to day 7. Or you can say day 5 and days. Okay, this can be 3 days in a familiarization. Day 4 and 5 is memorize the sequence, and day 7 onwards block memorization. This is nothing but what they are telling it as Panchati. The entire Panchati of that is 10 Vakyas. They tell the entire Dashavakyas. So let me take an example here. We will go to the Prathama Kanda. For example, now suppose I have started from Swaravyayam Swarganaka. So I will take 20 lines. 20 lines, which is 10 slokas. Okay, this is my one block. Now for this block, first I will by heart Swaravyayam Swarganaka Pidivat Tridachalayaha. So I teach, you repeat. Like that class is happening. 5 classes we are repeating the same thing. So all of us have to do that. Then only Guru Anucharana Purvaka Shishya Guru Ucharana Purvaka Shishya Anucharanam has to happen first. So either you have to listen to an audio or some Guru has to teach you and you have to repeat twice. That has to happen. That is the first step of memorization. If that is not happening, you are just listening to audio, it is very, very difficult to memorize, long-term memory. So let me be very clear about this process. So this has to happen, and this will be 3 days. What we will do is, we will just familiarize the words and the vakyas. Day 4 and day 5, we will be worried about what we'll be thinking is Swaravyayam Swarganaka Stidivas Tridashalayaha next Suraloko, so sequence, next is Suraloko, next Amaranit Jaradeva, next Suparvana Sumanasaha, Aditeya Divishado, Adityara Bhavo Swapna, Barihir Mukha Kratabujo. All this sequence we will be putting in our memory. That we have to get in 4 and 5, 5th day. From the 6th day or 7th day onwards, we have to, or you can take this for sequence, you can take 3 days. From day 7 onwards, it has to be the entire block repetition. So once you get the sequence, you have to block, you have to test yourself with the block. In block memorization, there is no, again, memorization is not there. Test yourself with the block, just like how these people did. On the 10th day, what did they do? They set the full panchati of 10 vakyas each student. So like that in front of the teacher. Like that they have, ideally you should tell it in front of me. That is where I give you chance in the next week to recite, where you have to test yourself and tell. This was the method which was followed for the 200 classes. So day 7, you are supposed to test yourself and you have to recite. Block memorization. This is called block memorization. After you do, you have to practice this block. This was not done in our class. Practice this block 10 times on week 1. Okay. Today we are in week 0. Next week will be week 1. So after 7 days, this 7 days has happened. Next week, or you say this week 2. Week 1, this is happening. Week 2, what is happening? You will be practicing this block 10 times. In a different duration. It will not be in the duration where there will be class by the teacher. You will be practicing at a different time. So week 3, you will continue to, there will be week 2's lessons will be there, which you will have to practice, and week 1's revision also has to be done, which is the Uttara Tiruvai, daily 3, 4, 5 times. That is ongoing practice. So week 3 will be week 2 lessons practice plus ongoing practice of week 1. Week 4, week 3 lesson plus week 2 ongoing plus week 1 little bit of practice. That is 2 times or 1 time. Little practice. Now this is the way it is done. Like this, if we do the Amarakosha for 1 hour per day, okay, we will be able to, there are around 1500 slokas approximately. 1500 slokas can be done in 4 years, 3.5 to 4 years. I am only taking 1 hour per day. I am not taking more than that. 1 hour per day is the total practice time apart from the class time of half an hour that we are spending, or class time of somebody teaching you 20 lines. 1 hour per day at the rate of 20 lines being taught. One second, 20 lines. Over to questions. Now this is the memorization technique which I thought I should share, and this is the ancient technique. In Mysore Maharaja College in Karnataka, they have tried out this technique. and they have done this technique and they have by-hearted this, and this entire thing was followed 1 hour per day only, because they will be by-hearting other things. There will be Vedas also to by-heart. You can't give more than 1 hour per day for Amarakosha, because you have lot of things to do. Even Veda Pathasala students will not be able to give more time. Even people who are in other professions, they will not be able to give more than 1 hour per day for this 1 hour per day is maximum. Ideally 35-40 minutes after you are trained this brain to memorize, and after you do 1 or 2 vargas, you can use the transition time. You can use the time when you are sitting in a bus, when you are, the revision time can be done in different ways. When we are traveling, when we are doing something else, when we are waiting for someone, all these times also can be used for revision. But the first step is to get yourself trained and teach, even if it is very simple. For example, this Amarakosha is very simple when compared to the Vedas for this Veda Pathasala students. But still they are attending this class. Why they are attending this class? They want to hear from a guru and recite along with the guru first 5 classes or 10 classes. They want to do that. After that they can memorize themselves. That is the method which we are adopting. That is the method. That is why we have spent so much time for first kanda. That means we are spending 5 classes for the same set of 20 lines or 25 lines. And then, but here what we did was we also spent time for the meanings, and we also spent time for the exercises and other things. That was an extra thing. Otherwise we could have finished say 600 lines in less than 6 to 8 months. We could have finished it. We could have finished this entire class. But the purpose of Amarakosha was to also understand the meaning, the synonym, the linga, vibhakti, the etc., the explanation. That is why we took some time, etc. Now there is a document which I thought I should highlight, but this is how I also memorized. See, for me, I had the fortune of having my own grandfather teach me Amarakosha when I was 12 years old, to me directly. So this entire Prathama Kanda was taught to me by my grandfather. We finished it in 8 months when I was when I was in the age of 12. Afterwards I didn't practice, but later I have used it in my Shastra and other this one. But however, it can be done. The entire Prathama Kanda can be done in about 8 months. The Dvitiya Kanda will take about it will take double the time of Prathama Kanda. Say about 15 months it will take Dvitiya Kanda. The Tritiya Kanda will take about 8 months. So you can say 8 4s are 32 months. 32 months is approximately 3 years. But not that we will, this is not a time clock or some discipline or some military army or something. Everything can happen clockwise. So we just expand it to 3.5 to 4 years. There will be holidays, there will be no classes, there will be anadhyana days. All these things will be there. So with that, that is why it can, I am saying that it can be done in 3.5 to 4 years. This is the memorization technique that we do. Again, I will summarize. Day 1 to 3 is the familiarization of words and vakyas. Day 4 and day 6 is the sequence. Day 4, day 5, day 6 is sequence memorization. Day 7 is block memorization, where you test yourself with the sequence and the vakyas. Then you practice that for that day, and then you go to next week. In the next week, you practice that entire block 10 times, which is week 2, in a different time. That means today evening you are having this class, you will practice this in the morning, like that. Or if for you it is morning, for US people it is morning class, to practice this in the evening or in the afternoons. So it is a different time where you have to practice this block 10 times. The next and there will be class also going on. In week 3, what will happen is there will be a lesson practice plus ongoing practice. Same way week 2 lesson practice. Same way week 4 will be week 3 lesson, week 2 ongoing, which will be 3 times or 5 times only, not 10 times, because week 3 lesson you will be doing 10 times. Week 2 lesson you will be doing 5 times or 3 times. Week 1 we will be doing 1 time, or like that you will reduce depending on how you are progressing. This is exactly how this memorization is done. and I thought I should share this with you. The main core here is to train your brain to memorize. Now, any questions on this memorization technique? Now, where does age come into this picture? I also didn't understand why. Now, you may, because of your less knowledge of Sanskrit, you may take more days, for example, to familiarize the words. It is okay. Suppose you take double the time, it is okay. Still, you can do it in 8 years, and you can reduce 20 lines to 10 lines if you want to. So you can choose and you can master this Amarakosha or any set of slokas or any Ashtadhyayi or anything. Ashtadhyayi we take 20 sutras. In Amarakosha we do 20 lines. 20 lines is 10 slokas. Normally what happens in Amarakosha is more than 20 lines. We stop at some parvas. Say for example, now I start with Swaravyam. This is what my grandfather was doing with me. Now he will stop at, for example, Devata's Triyam is there now. Now he will stop here, or he will come to Asuraha. Where is Asuraha? Asura Daitya Daiteya Suradvishaha. Till here he will do first block. So this is a big block, first block. So first he will do this, or he will stop. So they stop at a particular synonym. Then they start with Aditya Vishwasaha till Buddha. Then Sarvajna till Brahma they'll finish, or Sarvajna, this Buddha will be finished. Then Brahma and Vishnu will go together. Then Manmatha will start, Madano Manmatha Mara will come, and it will go up till Lakshmi, and then it will continue. Like this block can be taken. It can be close to 20 lines. Sometimes it may be 18 lines, sometimes it may be 22 lines. It is not exactly as per the Veda. In Veda they take exactly, it will be very, very perfect. Pancha 50 words, 10 lines, exactly it will go as per the order. Here we have some flexibility depending on the student. Any questions on these memory techniques and other things? Please, students can raise their hand and ask questions. First person, Soumya Harish Kumar.
Ram, sir. Sir, I had a doubt here in memorization. So week 1, we will be taking the first 20 lines and getting familiarized for, say, till day 7.
Okay.
First week. And then in second week again, we will go to a new set of 20 lines and at the same time repeat the week 1's 20 lines also 10 times.
Yes, this has to be done in a different time.
Yeah.
So the time where you see, this is week 1, 20 lines is with the Guru. Okay. We practice this block 10 times is not with the Guru, it is with yourself.
Okay.
It is with
along
yourself.
with that,
Along with that, you will
week
have week 2 class, another 20 lines. Class will be there.
Week 2, 20 lines with the Guru will be there.
Will be there. That is Guru time is different, your time is different.
Okay.
Now this is where you are training yourself to sit and by heart. Okay. Just like you do meditation, you do pranayama, you do meditation, you do yogasana, you do walking, you do swimming. You train your body to do all those things. You train your brain. Your brain, body means indirectly the brain which is getting trained to do all those things. Right? This is what you have to do.
Sir, and this is 10. The practice this block 10 times. Is it per day?
Per day. Per day 10 times.
Okay.
So what I have to do is because you are in this speed, because you are already memorized the Alpa Prana, Mahaprana, everything you have done in the first week. Alpa Prana, Mahaprana, line, Sandhi, everything is over. Second week you are doing like this. Saravayam sargana kattiriva trisalaya sumelo divode striyam klidesva tavamaran dradeva trisal vidasuraha subarnas manasas triveshadyo kisahati आदित्यार्भव स्वप्न अमर्त्यामतांत सह परिहिर्मुखाकृत कुचोर गीर्वाणा दानवारयः वृन्दारका देवतानि पुंसिवा देवतास्त्रियाम् आदित्य विश्ववसस्तुषिता भाषतानिनाः महाराजिक साध्याश्च गणदेवताः विख्यातमापनो यक्षरक्षो like that you are doing. And how much time it is taking? For one time it is taking about 3 minutes it will take. 10 times it will take 30 minutes. Sir, it is going to take 10 times to practice that 30 minutes. If you have done the first week correctly with the Guru and you have familiarized your lines, you know how to pronounce, you know how to do that, then the second week is very, very fast. It is only bringing yourself to this one, that you are actually by-hearted in the first week itself. But you are taking that memory from short-term memory to system 1 to system 2 thinking. You should read the book called Daniel Kahneman. System 1 and System 2 Thinking by Daniel Kahneman. It's a very, very interesting book. It speaks about what our Vedic scholars are doing. What they are doing, they will learn everything here, and they will, in the second week practice, they are taking it to System 2. System 2 means involuntarily they will tell that. See, when we are practicing driving of a car, first time the driver will tell this is brake, this is clutch, everything he will teach. So you will be very conscious of brake, clutch, steering, everything, road, size, everything you will be conscious. After about 6 months, when you know how to drive well, you are in System 2. You will be listening to Upanyasam of Dikshitar or some Premi Anna, and you will be driving. You will be listening to a song and driving. You are actually enjoying the song. Your driving is involuntary. Now, by hearting this Amarakosha and doing this practice 10 times, you are taking your entire thing to an involuntary state where your System 2 is called, as per psychology, you take that to System 2 thinking, where your brain automatically recites and everything, it happens. You just, somebody keys you in the middle of the night and say, Vidyadhara, Vidyadhara, Taro, Yaksharaksho, Gandharva Kinnaraha. Now you see our boys, Narayana and Kriti in this batch. I ask them any line they are able to tell, because they have done that week 2 practice 10 times, they have done. So they will be able to tell any line. In their dream, in their sleep also they will be able to tell. They have taken it from System 1 to System 2. That is what happens in week 2. Week 2 practice. If week 2 practice and week 1 practice is very different, week 1 is definitely with the Guru, and it has to be done very, very properly. And week 2 is actually, it has to be done 10 days. I just split it into weeks because we are only having weekly classes. And we are this one, for our purpose, I am just putting it as week. However, for the Vedic scholars, it is not week. It is 10 days. They do it for 10 days. And then they take it to the next 10 days.
So in week 3, there will be 40 lines that we should be practicing 10 times, and then there will be another 20 lines.
No. In week 3, the week 2 lesson practice will be 10 times, but the ongoing practice is only 5 times. That is what he said. Afterwards, it is ongoing practice. Ongoing practice is not 10 times. It is 3 times, 5 times, or 2 times, depending on how you remember the old things. And the week 1 and week 4, the week practice will be only 1 time. Just once you will repeat. Just you are very cautious. Okay, I am safe with those set of 10 lines. That is week 1.
Okay. So it is like a cumulative process, yeah. Cumulative.
So in a month you will get a result. After 1 month, you will be doing the first 20 lines very perfectly. It is after 4 weeks of attending Amarakosha class and doing this practice, you will tell the 20 lines of Amarakosha after 4 weeks perfectly without any mistake. And you will be able to tell it in sleep also. Then cumulatively it will increase. So you will have a lag of 4 weeks. See, ideally week 0 should be, if you are an advanced student, week 0 should be pre-reading. Till you can reduce. All these things can be done. Slightly we can tweak this process here and there. But this is generally the accepted norms and standards by which the entire knowledge parampara, which is the Vedas, have come. There are people who have by-hearted 18,000 slokas of Bhagavatam. There are people who have by-hearted 24,000 slokas of Ramayana along with Bhagavatam, along with Vedas, along with Bhashyas. And they have studied. There are people. What did they do? How did they achieve that? They did only one thing. That is, they trained their brain to memorize things, and they had a separate time allocated for it. This is the secret of the entire thing. If you don't train your brain for doing this activity, and you think that it will come on your own, it will not happen. And we don't want to leave it to chance. It is not something that you see. If you don't have print media, if you don't have anything, you just have to transfer the knowledge oral to oral without any mistake, and then it has to transfer for generations. You see, this is the technique which people have followed. Now in between we are using book, we are using all these things. That's okay. That is all can be used for this one. We are using audio, we are using everything. Now we have technology, we have books, everything we have. But without this, the entire knowledge was transferred.
Yeah.
I think all of us got this. Your elders, I think, must have understood that it is all about training your brain to memorize.
Thank you, sir.
Dhanyavadaha. Shyam Subramaniam, you have any questions?
Ram Mahodaya. And week 4 வந்து இப்போ நிறைய போர்ஷன்ஸ் இப்போ week 1 week 2 week 3 னா நம்ம அந்த week 1 லிட்டில் பிராக்டிஸ் வச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். இப்ப மீனாட்சிக்கு அஷ்டத்தியாயினா இப்ப ஆல்ரெடி 4th அத்தியாயம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாதம் மனப்பாடம் பண்ணிருக்கானா 3த்தையுமே நம்ம சொல்ல வைக்கணுமா? அந்த மாதிரி லைக் 1 2 3 3த்தையுமே டெய்லி சொல்ல வைக்கணுமா மகோதயா?
Week 4. So in the first month, once you can repeat, that's allowed. You need not do 10 times practice or 5 times practice 3 times. Week 4, you can take the first week's portion little bit lightly because you have already done it. So, and that has to be repeated monthly once.
Okay.
Cumulative, you have to do it monthly once. Suppose you are in Tritiya Pada now. Pratama Pada, you must see Vyakarana and Tarka and all, Veda and all. What will happen is you forget very easily. How much easily you memorize, you forget so easily also. If you don't do the remembrance and avarti back, what will happen is you will forget. So first month is over, second month is over. In second month you will have week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8. So in week 8 or some other, we have to allocate some other time wherein we practice the entire month at least once. Sometimes we have to practice. Like that, see what we are doing by these processes is we are ensuring that the old portion is not forgotten, it is retained. That is the heart. For children like Meenakshi and all, it will easily happen. They need not repeat it, still they will remember. But for elders like us who are above 40, above 30 and all, we will have to do monthly revision also, which will be another time. You have to spend separate time for that, which means monthly you will have to spend 2 hours for revising the entire month's thing separately for elders only. That is just as a caution I am telling. But if you have done this with the Guru and these things, you have done it properly, this is a foolproof method by which you can by heart. There is no question that this method will fail, because this is 5,000 years knowledge which is there, and today we have Veda Pathasala students telling this to us. I did not tell it to you. Veda Pathasala students themselves told it to you. Dhanyavadaha. Pancharadam sir, you have any questions? Pancharadam sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes sir.
Yeah, I 100% agree with your training technique. I'm pretty sure when people are learning Vedas in the Pathasala, something similar, they said they won't even give you the notes. They have to memorize what was taught by the teacher. From the memory, they have to repeat it. If they make a mistake, they go back and do it, go back and do it. What is amazing to me is, like, for example, people who have been trained like this, even at the age of 60 or 70, they are able to remember that.
Exactly.
That means they have to refresh it every so often, because there are certain things, they do every month. There are weddings and things like this, they are able to remember it. So that means they have to practice that every day, right? Some parts of it, keep in touch with it. Because if you don't do that, then you will fade away your memory. Do I agree with you?
Yes, yes. See, in Amarakosha, one more thing is, in Vedas, what will happen is the Brahmana Bhaga, Samhita Bhaga, Upanishad Bhaga, Aranyaka Bhaga, Ekagni Kanda, everything is there. I am taking the example of Yajurveda because I am a Yajurvedist, so I know only Yajurveda. So Ekagni Kanda is something which you will use for all your samskaras and other things which you are going to use for Vivaha, all Shodasha samskaras, apart from the Antyeshti, that one is separate. So Ekagni Kanda are set of mantras which will be using on a daily basis. Then Udaka Shanti and some other mantras will be using for some special occasions. Right. But there are some mantras like Samhita Bhaga, Ashwamedha Prashna and other things which nobody is using because it is related to Yaga and other yajnas. So there are some portions in the Vedas which they will be practically using, which they will always remember because they are going to use every day. For example, Punyavachana mantra. Anything you have to do, any day in and day out you have to do Punyavachana. So you will remember Punyavachana mantra, you will never forget. But if some other mantra which is which is not Ashwamedha Prashna, you will not remember Ashwamedha Prashna always. So then our Kataka Prashna or something which is there in Kataka this one or something you will not remember. So then those are the portions which is called as Brahma Yajna Prashna, which every day in Brahma Yajna, which they are doing every day, they are supposed to recite and recollect and remember. Like that, the Vedic scholars, they have kept, for Amarakosha, now particularly coming to Amarakosha, we are going to use this in our kavyas. So how do you use this? After you study Amarakosha, what sir, I have memorized this so much of Amarakosha, what should I do? Now, Vagartha vyoma-samskrta pathasala jagatam pitaro vande Parvati Parameshwaro, you got a shloka. Now, Vagartha. There is something, then you have to refer to Vagartha vyoma-samskrta pathasala jagatam pitaro vande. So when you are coming to Parvati Parameshwaro, when you are Vak, so Girvag Vani Saraswati Brahmi tu Bharati Bhasha Girvag Vani Saraswati Vyahara Uktir Lapitam Vivashitam Vimalam Vachaha. That line you have to recollect when you are actually doing Vagartha.
Correct. Yes.
Then you have applied the Amarakosha knowledge to reading Raghuvamsha, wherein you are repeating that knowledge and recollecting it. Now, then that line becomes, now that line you will never forget. Vagartha vyoma, then that Brahmi to Bharati Bhasha, you will never forget.
Right.
So there is an application of every line in Amarakosha is applied to kavyas or something that you read in Sanskrit. So that way you are definitely going to remember all these words.
That I agree. One last question. I know the technique you said is perfect. We have all done it in some form or the other, not only Sanskrit, math, English, everything. Now,
exactly.
How to is there a technique how to keep? For example, I may not touch Amarakosha for the next 6 months because I'm busy with something else. To come back, so you have to have a refresher. So there are easier way to refresh what we did, because that is the challenge here. I mean, but anyway, I mean, that's why I'm sitting in your class every day, because at least I'm grasping what you're teaching, then sit down on one day, go back and practice, remember them. But this is a challenge. We all have the challenge with the timing and all this. So do you have anything to refresh this? But right now I have the book, I have just go back and look at it and then take it from there. So, because I've seen some scholars also, there are certain types of mantras, when they have the book by themselves, because they don't want to make a mistake. Quickly they look at it and read it. So,
yeah. But so that recollection, we should be very conscious of not forgetting what we have studied. So we should definitely time that periodicity. say instead of 6 months you don't touch Amarakosha, at least 3 months you can be, then you should see that you don't lose. That is where this week 2 practice will put you in system 2, which means you will never forget.
Right.
Week 3 and week 4, this for week 4, it will put you in such a position that you will never forget it. But still, because you are continuously studying and you are continuously going, it is not that you are stagnant. You are studying only these 4 lessons, 4-week lessons. You are continuously going, right? You are continuously going, and there is lots to study. This is Amarakosha is one thing, Ashtadhyayi is there, Veda is there, some other shloka is Narayanyam is there, some other shloka is Bhagavatam is there. So many things we are studying. So, which is where we have to time it properly. And see, in by hearting, there are certain things which is a must in our life. Ashtadhyayi, Jaganmata, Amarakosha, Jagatpita. If you see, the Amarakosha is a tool which is a key for Sanskrit language. Any kavya, anything. After I teach you Amarakosha, you need not sometimes have a teacher to study some of the basic kavyas at the basic level. Maybe at the import level, when you are studying Ballinatha, Vyakhyana, commentaries, etc., you may need an expert to help you. But you can study certain things on your own. So that way, the effort, where we have to put effort. We have to put effort here.
Yes.
And if you are studying Vyakarana Shastra, if you have finished Veda and we are entering Shastra, the first Shastra that we study is Vyakarana. So for Vyakarana, without knowing Panini Sutras, if you enter Vyakarana, every time you will forget the Sutra and you will not know how to apply it.
Agreed.
And that is where you will have to by heart the Sutras first before entering into any Kaumudi class or Kashika class. That is only 8 months effort, 8 to 9 months effort. But that 8 months effort, somebody tries to skip and he goes into the directly into Granthas like Kaumudi or something. Okay, he can study that parallelly, but he should not leave the memorization of Ashtadhyayi. Because Ashtadhyayi, the structure, the order, everything, Panini has kept it in such a way that itself is like a computational, it's a language, it's a computational system. So
I agree. I mean, also one difference is modern techniques for the teaching, they have a different emphasis. So that's where we are clashing with this. Especially when the children go to school and all, they don't emphasize on memorization just throughout the world. But now this is coming back. It's very helpful.
The modern system completely, that is why there is no depth in the modern system.
Right.
See, today a Veda Pathasala student, after he finishes Vedas, he studies the Kavyas and he goes to study the Veda Bhashya and he studies. How deep is his knowledge? He is so deep, he studies very deeply. When you study a Shastra, you study it very deeply. When you, the depth at which you study is something amazing.
Right.
So the depth is not there in the current generation. They will not study anything deeply. Here the focus is deep. For deep study, the internalization of the words is very important.
Correct,
Shravanam, even in Vedanta, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam.
Right.
Even in Vedanta Prakriya, that is told. First is Shravanam, then Mananam and Nididhyasanam. So,
but having said that one, I have to agree with this fundament because any famous scientists or engineers or doctors, they have the same technique. Otherwise, they can't be famous because they have that built in with them, same like memorization. So, yes, we are not emphasizing everybody to memorize it, but smart people, they memorize it and keep it, they internalize it. The word you are using, internalize, is very important because it becomes part of you. Once it is part of you, then you really become smart and then you are able to use it. Yeah, I agree, 100%. This is there, everybody who is famous, whoever is accomplished, they have this, what you are saying. So,
correct.
Great.
Correct.
Anyway,
thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent.
Dhanyavad. Okay. So there are only 2 more questions. We'll close after the 2 more questions. Akhila Bhagini, you have any questions?
Namaste Mahodaya. During first week, along with the Guru, we are learning the 20 lines. Apart from that, should we spend some time in just reading the lines?
Reading the lines, you can spend some time, yes. That is what I said, familiarization. If suppose you are not getting the words and other things, since we have only 7 days, you can spend some time. At home, you can practice. But that is not enough.
Okay. Day 7 block memorization, I am unable to catch that point, Mahodaya.
Block memorization is, say you take this block, these are the 20 lines which we have 11 to, this is line number 11 to line number 20. This is what we have, this is a one block, say. Now this is block memorization, means you have to recite from Swaravyayam to Ganadevataha without any mistake or stop or anything. That is block. Wherever you think you are missing, you have to do the block again. This entire block, you cannot do one line at a time. You have to do this entire block at a time.
Oh. So while memorizing itself, you should do.
Yeah, the entire, you have to select the block for the week. The block for the week is 20 lines or 10 lines or 5 lines or whatever you select. But 5 lines and all is not a block. So it has to be minimum 10 lines. 20 lines is the preferred block for Amarakosha and Ashtadhyayi. 20 lines means 10 slokas, and there are 20 sutras. In Ashtadhyayi it is 20 sutras.
Oh.
So that block is very important. Block memorization, the brain remembers things in that way. It is not, see, everybody will think, okay, there are 1500 slokas. Suppose there are 700 slokas in Bhagavad Gita. Let me give you an example. Somebody says, I will by heart 1 sloka per day. In 700 days, I will by heart 700 slokas. So 700 days means at least in about 2 years. 700 days is 2 years, no? In 2 years, will he by heart Bhagavad Gita? He will not. If he is by hearting 1 sloka per day, he will not by heart Bhagavad Gita after 2 years. Because if you ask him the 5th sloka in the 2nd chapter, he will say, I don't know. It is not only about the sloka, it is remembering, telling the word and remembering the sloka. It is about the sequence. It is about the word next to it. It is about many things.
Oh.
So it is not about knowing the lines and memorizing 1 sloka. So people say, I will by heart 1 shabda per day, 1 line, 1 sloka per day. That 1 sloka per day and all will not work. Will not work. This is my experience, personal experience. The entire thing should be a block, and the block should be taught by the guru to the Sishya it has to be a block learning. In Vedas they are calling it as Sandhai Panchati and all. In Amarakosha I am calling it as block. For you people to understand, I am calling it block.
Okay. So that means we have to, while memorizing also, we have to memorize in a block method only, not by line. Oh.
Not line method. Today I will by heart 1 line, tomorrow 2nd line. It will not work. You will have to study, your first day you studied 10 minutes or 15 minutes. From Suraloko to Ganadevata you have to study. Abara to Ganadevata you have to study, and then you have to stop. Then next day again you have to study that. 3rd day again you have to study that. This is familiarization. Then along with the guru happens. Then you have to start telling the lines and trying to remember the sequence. You will miss the 2 or 3 lines. For that you have to use the fingers. So I have taught you about how to use the fingers in Ashtadhyayi class. All the so Amaranit Charadeva Stridasha Vibuddha Suraha Suparvana Sumanasastri Veshadivokasa Adideya Divishato Veleka Ditinandanaha Adityar Bhavo Swapna Amartya Amatandasaha Barhir Mukha Kratabujo Girvana Danavarya Vrindaraka Devatani Pumsiva Devata Striyam. So you know that there are 6 lines for Devas, Amaranit Charadeva. Next, Aditya Vishwa Savastushita Bhaswanaridaha Maharadika Sadhyascha Rudrascha Gandevataha Vidyadharapsaro Yaksharaksho Gandharva Kinnaraha Pishacho Bhushyaka Siddho Bhutomi Devayonayaha. You can do 10 lines at a time also if you want. But 20 lines is preferred because that it gives you that comprehensiveness. If your age is small, you can take 20 lines. If you are higher age, you take 10 lines. So now 10 lines you have by hearted using the fingers. And you know 6 fingers I am going to use for Amara Nivjara Deva and I by heart. And you do use the finger technique. You know the 2nd finger is Suparvana Sumarasaha Aditeya Divishadaha Adityar Bhavo Swapna Barhir Mukha Kratabujo. Like that individually also you will know. Afterwards you will start telling, if I only show this finger, you can tell that line, that sloka. Vedas they do. See, in Veda Pariksha and all, they do Kalvech Pariksha, Nalvech Pariksha, all these things they do know. They will tell the word, they will tell word number 50 in this line, in this stanza. From there he has to start and he has to tell. To that extent they have to by heart.
Oh.
Even today in Bhagavad Gita, there in foreign, in USA, people are by-hearting like that. There are people whom I know who are by-hearting. If I ask them one word in Bhagavad Gita, they will tell the whole shloka. It is inside the Bhagavad Gita, inside this. If I tell them, tell the 10th shloka of 10th chapter, they are able to tell. And they are doing Bhagavad Gita in 11 months. There is a team which is doing that. And some of the students are there in our class only. Narayana and Sukriti, they have done Bhagavad Gita. What is their age? They have completed Bhagavad Gita. Their age is 4. Narayana is 4 years. Sukriti is 6 years. They have completed Bhagavad Gita in 11 months. This is not, they are our students in our class. They are sitting there. They are able to do it. What did they do? They just gave time. They just gave focus and time. That's all. They have trained their brain to memorize. You can ask Narayana's mother, if she is there here. Narayana's mother is there. She will not speak much, but she is not this one. Narayana's mother, you want to talk about it? Just for 2 minutes. Narayana's mother.
Mahodaya.
How did your children by heart? Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, in the class, they like Venkat Mahodaya teaches in the class two times like a Veda syllabus like that. So at home, I also teach them like that, 2 padas and 4 padas and full 2 lines, 2 line wise and complete shloka. After that, each shloka they chant 5 times. I teach 3 shlokas per day. So after 3 shlokas, they can memorize by order. Means the continuity. I can. So yeah.
And she has done it. So here, what has happened? The method they have used is they have used one interface, the parent or some other helper. They use something called a helper, where after the class is over, somebody helps them to practice. That is what in Veda Pathasala, what they do is that Pradhana teacher teaches that there is another teacher who is a junior teacher who will make the students practice. So here we have to, if we want somebody else to monitor us to practice, we have to put that person.
And I never gave the book to them, Mahodaya. I never gave the book to them. So I just only teach them. One of my gurus told me if we give the book to them, they will never memorize it. They just read only.
Correct.
I follow that rule.
And they have by-hearted Bhagavad Gita by God's grace, by Guru Kripa, by Bhagavan's this one. I was there in the examination when Narayana was giving an exam. I was there when he gave the Bhagavad Gita exam in some other forum. So I have seen these children doing it. There is another batch doing 200 people doing for the second year. They are doing. So it is. So what is the secret of their success is they have given time for it. They have given priority for it. They have trained their brain to memorize. They are doing it successfully. Now last question, Venkateshwaran Gopala. You have any questions? With this, we will close for the day. Tomorrow is our last class. Tomorrow's class also will be 1 hour, 5:30 to 6:30.
Sir, it is my. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Sir, my only comment is this: even if you discontinue the practice for some time, once you have learnt it, the next time it will not take that much time. A slight revision will be sufficient to recollect the entire thing. So always once learned, it doesn't go to waste. The recollection will not take that much time, even if there is discontinuity. This is my comment.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will close for the day. Today there were Pratibha Bhagini. I think your request. There were few other people who requested for the memory techniques. So I have tried my best to tell. And there is no foolproof technique other than this Vedic method. So if somebody says I have a better technique, there may be better techniques, audios, or other things, but this is a foolproof technique where definitely the memorization happens irrespective of age. Age is not the criteria. It is our willpower to do it and it is our training our brain to memorize. I'm just stressing it 100 times just because we don't treat it as an activity at all. We think that the memorization will happen automatically. Unless we treat it as an activity and give time for it and allocate time in our calendar and sit for it, it is not going to happen. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripa. I will share this presentation as an attachment. I will put it in the course page. This presentation was done together and we just did it together now. I didn't have time to do it before, but I am sure along with the Veda Pathasala students, I thank the Veda Pathasala students who are there with us. They are memorizing Ashtadhyayi and Amarakosha. They are from Tiruchi and Srirangam. They are doing it very well. Now they have done the Vedas, so for them this is not a big thing. They will do it very fast. So I thank them for telling the method, because though I knew my brother is studying Vedas, we have studied Vedas from our grandfather, but still we wanted to get this from a Vedic student, and I thank Parankusha, Sundara Raghava and Aniruddha for telling us this. Thank you Parankusha and others. धन्यवादाः. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु.